Hey students, welcome to a new week, new study called Love Hate, where we talk about really the difference between the way that we should operate as believers and the way that kind of tends to be what our culture does. And so we're just going to jump right in week one and talk about something that really a lot of us struggle with. In fact, I think every one of us struggles with on some level. So just kind of buckle down, get ready, and we'll try to keep this super short and walk through it together. So I think one of the things that we need to understand before we worry about anything else in this entire process is to know that we live in a world that really uses the phrase love and hate really loosely. And it's kind of one of these weird things. Let me figure out if I can. There we go. This new series, Love Hate, and we live in a world where we use the words love and hate pretty loosely, right? You may say things like you love Lucky Charms or you love, some sport, but you hate Justin Bieber or Selena Gomez or I don't know, insert whoever right there. So we say these things a lot because love is a big deal, and when we love something, we tend to hate the opposite of it. On the other hand, we live in a culture that loves to hate on people or ideas, and so if love is really such a big deal to us, why does hate, and specifically hating on people or ideas, seem to be like a natural part of our lives? And it's one of these things that there are a lot of different categories that can go into this, a lot of different ways that we hate on people. But I think that one of the main ways that we do, and we're going to talk about this today, is gossip. And so you may be thinking, like, oh, I don't talk about other people, but I do know someone who talks about other people all the time. And that may be true, but in reality, the truth is that we all talk about other people. When it comes to gossip, it's not just a high school thing or a middle school thing, it's an adult thing as well. And so, as we take a look in the mirror, we have to understand that we contribute on some level to this form of hate. And so, why do we have such a strong attraction to trash talking or gossiping or Kermit spilling the tea kind of thing? I think there are a few reasons. Let me pull them up here for us. Um, I think there are a few reasons, and number one, I think it tends to do a lot with our insecurities, right? Like, if we can point out what's wrong with other people, it helps us cover up our insecurities and how we feel about ourselves. Number two, it's an easy way of bonding. I mean, there really isn't a whole lot quicker ways, a whole lot of other ways quicker. There we go, we say that right. A whole lot of other ways quicker to get involved in a group of people that you want to get involved with than hating the same things that they do or talking trash about somebody else or giving them a piece of gossip that they may not know whether or not it's true. Um, there's really not much in this world that will bond you to someone else than hating or disliking the same things or people that they do. Number three, it's fun, right? It's entertaining to be on the receiving end of knowing something about someone or some situation or someone's poor decisions, and being one of the first people to know those things, right? A competitive advantage. Right, so we all like being the best at stuff, and so spreading, rumors or gossip or talking about somebody how they're not good at something is an easy way for you to highlight how you're better than they are or how good you are in comparison. Uh, Number five is truth, right? Maybe it is the truth. Maybe you can justify what you're saying because, well, you're just telling it like it is, or you're telling the truth. You're not lying about what you're saying, or maybe it's innocent intention. Sometimes we just have good friends that we share everything with. And so we don't really think about the fact that when we're sharing everything with them, we're talking about somebody in the process. So we're sharing everything about someone in that moment. And so it becomes kind of this weird thing where it doesn't really play out like we think it is, but in reality, we're still gossiping about somebody. like I said a while ago, it's not a high school thing. It's a people thing. And so we all know adults or teachers or coaches that share way too much information. And if this is such an accepted part of our society, um, I don't know, why is it that we know it's not the best thing to do? Right? I mean, everyone knows that gossip is a bad thing when it's about them, right? Like, there's no question about that. When someone's gossiping about you, you know that it's not the right thing to do. And so, how is this a process where when we know it's a thing that it's not the right thing to do when it's about us, then yet our culture loves to do it? Um, is this even possible to stop? Is this even really a thing that needs to be looked at? And I would say yes. And, Paul writes this letter called Ephesians to a church in Ephesus. And Ephesus, to really understand kind of the importance of why this matters to us, you have to understand that Ephesus is really this town that has this massive, diverse culture of different people with ideas and thoughts and religions and beliefs and understandings and um, cultures. I mean, it's just this melting pot of people. And so naturally, there are going to be disagreements and people talking about other people. See, it's the perfect setting for to provide the fuel for gossip. There was plenty to talk about and plenty to disagree with and plenty of people to go around judging other people. But Paul wanted the Christians there in Ephesus to really operate differently than culture. And it's the same way that we're called to do as believers. So his letter is all about them as followers of Jesus living this unique life that was different from the culture around them. And so he says in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29, he says that, well, I missed a couple here, didn't I? There we go. He says, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths. See, this letter was originally written in Greek, and if we look at the original word for unwholesome, it also has this meaning of rotten. Okay, and that's important for us to understand because trash talking or gossip rots friendships, relationships, and reputations. And this isn't what we want to produce in our lives, right? We don't want to reproduce this rotten kind of vibe around us because you have to understand something that gossip is an indication of something unwholesome inside of you, right? So gossip rots things from the inside out. It rots your relationships and the reputations and all these things around you, but it's also this massive indication that there is something unwholesome, something wrong inside of you. All right, so hear me well when I say that. I'm not saying that you're just completely jacked up and you're beyond repair. I'm saying that if you find yourself in gossiping situations where you're adding into it, it's showing that there is some insecurity, some thing that you're not dealing with inside of you that makes you think that you have to do this in order to be a part of what's going on around you. Because Jesus is very clear. He says, it's not what goes into your body that defiles you, but you are defiled by what comes from your heart. And that's Mark 7:15. Jesus very clearly says that we are defiled by what comes from our heart. And so whenever you're gossiping, out of the mouth, the heart speaks, right? So you are literally saying the things that are showing the depth of something being wrong in your heart. So you see, you have to understand that more than the words you speak, it's about the motivation that causes you to say certain things and participate in certain conversations. Do you understand that? Like if I'm confident in who I am and I'm comfortable with who I am, I'm not going to have a motivation to talk about other people in a negative way so that I can fit in with the crowd. Because I don't have to participate in that stuff to be secure with who I am. And I think a lot of us struggle with that because we struggle really with confidence on a basic level. You see, we go on to see in Ephesians, he says, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Right? We have this phrase that we hear a lot, hurt people, right? Hurt people, but healthy people help people. And so here he's saying we as believers need to do only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. See, he says it's not about you, it's about them. It's not about what you need to feel good about yourself. It's about being helpful and fulfilling a need that they have. And in so doing, if everyone is looking out for the benefit of those around them, then you're going to be taken care of as well. That your needs are going to be met, that you don't have to be selfish in doing this. You don't have to disparage other people in doing this. There's no negative aspect to the equation if we're all working for the good of the people around us, because we're not taking from other people to get what we want. We're giving freely of other people because we're being given to not only by Christ, but by the people around us. You see, if we choose to build other people up, if we choose to care about their needs and help them, you'll choose words that will benefit them instead of words that bash them. I mean, it's a pretty simple concept, I think, but you have to understand through this process that what you say about others says a lot about you. I mean, it's a pretty simple concept, but I think it's huge. What you say about others says a lot about you. Think about it. The more people trash talk their friends or spread rumors or always have a mean joke to say, to make about somebody, when you think about that person, you don't think about all the great things about them. You think about all the negative things that they say and all the negative things that they do. You don't think about the positive things about them. And so you understand through this process that it's really a question of what do you want to be about? Like what do you want to be known for being all about? Because your question isn't a whether or not you should say something. The question is, what do you want to be about? Do you want to be known as someone who loves others, someone who hates others? Do you want to be known as someone who trashes people or someone who builds them up? And the good news for you is that you have a choice. You get to decide who you want to be and what you want to be known for. And so my suggestion is this: let love be what you're all about. And the basis of all of this stuff, let love be what you're known for. It's not a hard thing to do. It's just whenever you feel like you're about to say something that you shouldn't say, or something that's going to be hurtful, or something that's untrue, just shut up. Don't say it, right? Just keep your mouth shut. Right? We've all heard that phrase, probably from our parents. You don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And it's so incredibly true. Because look, if we are to be known as followers of Christ, Christ is known by showing the greatest act of love this world has ever known. Right? Greater love hath no man than a man would lay his life down for his friends. That's what Jesus Christ did for us on the cross. And so we should be reflecting the love that he is known for, the compassion that he is known for. And if our mouth is spewing rotten filth, rotten trash, by the way that we're talking about people, we're not representing Christ. We're representing the insecurities we have in ourselves. So let love be what you're all about. And that starts off by just keeping your mouth shut when it's being said, when negative things are being said about someone. Don't jump in on that. And then take it a step further and defend those people who aren't there to defend themselves. When you know something is untrue, or you know someone is talking about somebody, step in and break it up. Let love be what you're all about. But, we decide to say what we want to say sometimes by answering some pretty simple questions, right? A lot of times it's all about, will it make me look cool? Will it make me look funny? Will it make me look smart, right? Is it mostly true? But we need a new question. I think we need a new question. And I love the word that Paul uses here because it lays the perfect foundation for what we need to be doing. Right? We need to ask this question: is it helpful? He says, only do what is helpful for those others around you. So we need to ask this question: is it helpful? Who cares? Does it make me look funny? Who cares? Does it make me look cool? Who cares? Does it make me look smart? it needs to be true and it needs to be helpful, right? And so all we need to ask all we need to ask is, will these words be helpful? Will they build others up? Will they make someone's life better? You see, because all of us get to decide what we're going to be known for. We all get to be a part of that conversation. Will we be known for being about love, or will we be known someone who loves to hate? And my suggestion for us is pretty simple. Let's let love be what we're all about. It's simple. I think it's hard because of the habits that we get into, and these habits are what we have to break. So just ask yourself, before you speak in that moment, ask yourself, is it helpful? And if it's not, don't say it. Say something that is helpful. Learn to let love be what you're all about. Hey, we love you. We miss you. Have a great day.